What's going on, people? Good morning. Welcome to United View. What's been going on? What's been going on? Maguire hits back. Maguire hits back. Obviously, we're at the peak of the international break. England got their first game down. Portugal have had theirs. A couple of other teams as well. And the most interesting thing to take from it was Harry Maguire hits back. Now, this left, there was a lot of outrage. There's a lot of outrage on social media, a lot of fans having their say on what they thought, including Roy Keane. You know, quote for quote, Roy Keane said it was embarrassing what Maguire did. He thinks that he silenced the critics, and he hasn't. People on social media were saying, you know, it's a goal against Albania, and all of a sudden, you know, he's doing all this. And I think we got to break, we got to break it down, because it's just funny. I just laughed. Honestly, I just laughed. Out of kind of just wincing out of a bit like, I just feel a bit awkward for man. Do you know what I mean? And then the double down in afterwards, or sort of, should I say, the backtracking afterwards from Harry was a little bit. They asked him, you know, who the celebration was aimed at, and he said nobody. He said it's directed at no one. So it's like, okay, so what did you really do it? He's like, it's just a knee slide. I'm just kind of just putting my hands on my ears for no reason, just to kind of silence people, or not silence anyone. But everyone knows when stuff's gone on in football, whatever, players feeling frustrated, they score. You either run off doing the remember my name. Yeah, you may as well turn around, done the, do you know what I mean? Remember my name. Remember Fellaini used to do that one, like that and that. Do you know what I mean? To say I'm Fellaini, I'm whatever. Or you just do the pointing at the name because it says, yeah, it's me. Yeah, it's me. Or if you do that, yeah, you're saying shh. Or if you run around doing that to away fans or whatever, you're shushing people. You are shushing. I would have had a lot more respect for the situation if Maguire would have just said, you know, I've taken a lot of stick recently. I believe in my ability. I know I'm a good player. I've had bad form recently. And that was to the people that doubt me. I'd rather him say that than say it was to no one. Just, you know, just a celebration. Double down. Double down. If you mean it, Harry, double down. Don't do the half-hearted thing and just saying like, it weren't really to anyone when we all know what it was. And it makes it bad because, look, do I hope that sparks him into playing well for Man United? Of course I do. Do you know what I mean? We've spent £80 million on Harry Maguire, and he's playing horrendously right now. He's been at fault for many goals. He looks lost. He's going into a shell. Whether or not people think he's ever going to be good enough or at a level, different question. Do you know what I mean? Man United captain as well. These are all things that I think are kind of maybe a tier above Harry. I think he should just be, you know, in and around the squad, and just focus on his game and not be given those extra responsibilities which we've seen him being given, and that kind of status level that's been put towards him. So essentially, if he starts playing well from it, and then he starts being, you know, consistent again, and not, you know, scoring goals at the other end of the pitch for Man United, and not being involved in calamitous defending and stuff like that, and we go on a good run and turn things around, fantastic. But let's just kind of rein it in a little bit. Is that really going to happen? I'm not really getting those vibes from what's going on. So I just think just steady yourself. Don't worry about trying to shush the people because you're showing that you're rattled from it. And just let your football do the talking. You scored a goal against Albania. No disrespect to them. Scored a goal against Albania, a header, a fairly easy header. Just celebrate your goal. Don't worry about what the critics are saying. If you're not bothered, don't show it. But I think by doing that, I just think he just invited. Well, he's invited Roy Keane to have a go. You've invited the fans to say, why are you doing that? You've actually invited, you know, it to be a talking point even here on United View right now. I'm talking about it now because it's happened. I'm talking about it now because, you know, of his action. So I just feel like it was a little bit, why do that? Why do that? And another thing, Gareth Southgate came out. Obviously, he's going to back his player like Solskjaer would. Look, he's saying that Harry's a fantastic player. You know, a few months ago, he was in the team of the tournament at the European Championships, and then was like, oh, does he like? Maybe he likes a bit of Hulk Hogan. Maybe he likes Hulk Hogan. Yeah, well, if you run around doing the Hulk Hogan thing, yeah, why is Hulk Hogan doing that? He's saying what? Come on, what? I'm Hulk Hogan. Sit down. I'm Hulk Hogan. So that's probably the worst analogy to use. Do you know what I mean? But he found the funny side of it, and like I said, I winced in sort of just awkwardness. Like it was a proper, because you know when like a player does a knee slide, yeah, and they got that like Like when Henry used to bust a knee slide, like it's like, Harry was doing that. He was doing the Henry, big up your chest, don't touch me. Remember when Henry done the knee slide? There's a statue of it outside the Emirates when he does the knee slide, and it's like looking down. Don't touch me, leave me. I'm big man Henry. Can't talk to me. It was like Maguire was on that tip, and I'm like, Harry, just please, man. Why do that? So I just didn't like it, man. I just didn't like it. And I can see, you know, you're looking, social media is ruthless. So obviously social media is ruthless for negative reasons. But even when it's just a matter of opinion, which this is, you know, the player's done something, and, you know, the opinion of fans is going to be brought to the forefront of it because it's riled them up. And some of the comments were, you know, people were just like, really? Albania thinks he's made it now, thinks he's, you know, righted his wrongs. It just wasn't that. If it was, even say we played France, yeah, in a qualifier or something, and I don't know, it was just against a better team and it was a wicked header, like, you can, even that, I'll be like, come on, mate, it's one goal in national break, like, all right, cool. But again, no disrespect to Albania, but what he scored against Albania, someone said Maguire scores against the dog and duck equivalent, the equivalent of the dog and duck in international football, and thinks, you know, that he's sorted everything out. And it just gave those vibes of just don't do it. Do you know what I mean? Just don't do it. If you're not that rattled by what's going on and you just want to focus on your football and do what you need to do, you're not going to do that. You're not going to say anything. The fact that you're doing a pigeon chest out, you're doing that, just comes across wrong. And I think Roy Keane, you know what? Roy Keane pulled no punches. He was like, it's embarrassing. It is a little bit embarrassing, I think. And like I said, because Harry Maguire's then come back and doubled down on it, it's like, sorry, not double down, he's backtracked. I would have respected the thing more if he just said it. If he just said, yeah, you know what? I don't like what people have been saying. I listened to some of the NFL interviews, yeah? I can't remember what player it is. If you watch NFL, you'll probably know. And they was asking him about a beef between the player. And the guy was like, he know where I'm at. He got my number. You know, I ain't really in all this talking. He got my number. He called me. You know, we get into it. I'm on that. The basketball guys, they say it as it is. If you ask LeBron or something in the press conference, if you ask Russ, Kate, you know, Durant's always in his feelings about something. Dame Lillard, we talk about it. There was a top 75 list in the NBA, and what's his name? Clay was like, people still don't respect me. Why aren't I on the list? He weren't on the list, and he put a tweet out or like an Instagram story saying, "Right, why aren't I on the list?" Basically, my point is just the way that they express themselves in other sports. I just find it so refreshing. But in football, we have this thing where it's like, I'm gonna half say what I'm saying, but not really say it. That's why when you get a refreshing interviews, like when players are just brutally honest, we love it, even if you don't agree. Remember when Charlie Austin done that thing about VAR? He's like, it's rubbish. We don't need it. We don't want it. It's nonsense. It's crap. Mikel Antonio is another one. Refreshing interviews, just says it as it is, good, bad, or indifferent. Who else does refreshing interviews? I think Patrick Bamford's done a couple where it's just like real honest and just to the point. Connor Cody's another one. So when you see that and you see a player kind of half trying to big out his chest, but then when the heat comes to the kitchen, he's like, didn't really mean it like that. I was just celebrating a goal. Just think, nah, mate, just go the full 9 yards. Go the full 9 yards, mate. If you're going to puff out your chest and say, listen, you lot have been talking about me. I don't like it. Hold that in it. I scored. What you saying now? Then roll with that. Roll with that. I would respect that a lot more. So that was that on that front. In terms of Maguire hits back, I thought it was very peculiar. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. And let me know whether you think. Let me know whether you think it's not that deep. There were some people, and it's important to look at both sides. There were some people sort of saying, you know what? If that's what's going to spur him on, get his head right, because his head really ain't right now, then so be it. I wasn't really in that camp. I was like, just don't do it. It just didn't sit right with me. Another thing before I move on from the Maguire thing is that, what's his face? Southgate was talking about, you know, he came back from injury really quickly. A lot of people go hiding on the treatment table, but he hasn't done that. I thought, well, is that a good thing? Why are we celebrating that he's rushed back from injury and maybe not up to scratch? Listen, Harry Maguire is a durable player. Whenever he's available to play, he will play. He'll probably take injections. He's a bit of a warrior like that. I will give him that. But that doesn't mean that he's playing very good, or that doesn't mean he should be lauded for it. If he's being rushed back where he's not fit to play, that's a criticism on the coaching staff. It should be a criticism on the coaching staff. No, you shouldn't be playing him if he's not ready. We've seen what happens when you do that with Marcus Rashford. But to be honest with you, me personally, with Harry Maguire's form right now, I wouldn't even use that. I wouldn't even use that as a parameter of why he's not playing good. The fact that he's injured. I'm just seeing flaws in his game that just get exposed, whether he's fit or not fit. That's what I'm seeing. You know what I mean? And it's up to a manager, whoever that is. Obviously, right now it's Ollie. It's up to Ollie to mask those flaws, and you know, make Harry's attributes, the strength attributes that he does have, the strong attributes that he does have, shine. I.e., being good on the ball, i.e., being good in the air. But right now, being a leader and commanding and, you know, demanding kind of organisation at the back, with Harry Maguire being that focal point as the captain, we are not seeing that. We are not seeing that. I think that's just something that's been, you know, we keep hearing how he's this, he's that, and he's the perfect candidate for it. Obviously, Solskjaer believes in him at that level. Obviously, he's not England captain, but obviously Southgate believes in him in that level. I just think that's something that's being pushed to us, because when we see the leadership on the pitch, when we see the type of performances that Harry puts out, I think he's better off just being part of the cog and let someone else take that mantelpiece of being the main guy. Do you know what I mean? Even in the interviews, I'm just a bit, not really convinced by it. Not really convinced by it. Moving on, I want to talk a little bit about Martial. You know, I think there's loads been made just quickly about the managerial situation. It's boring already. It's boring. I'm not going to come on here every day and talk about when Solskjaer are going to leave and all of this, unless there's something really, really breaking that comes out. Because the fact is, it's just gone quiet. I think Owen kind of killed it perfectly yesterday, which is United silence continues. And we know that there's not going to be a managerial change before the international break. There was, you know, people, there's in the know accounts and people who think they know this and that. They don't know nothing. Everyone's just guessing. Yeah, it's as simple as that. We wait and see. We wait and see what happens. Owen is ringing me now. Owen is ringing me now. It's too late, Owen. It's too late. Yeah, you'll get people who claim they know all these, you know, in the know accounts and stuff like that, saying, you know, by Saturday this is going to happen, or Solskjaer's going to do this, and the fact that even KG, I'm having a dig at KG. Even KG was like, he's packed his bags, man. Why has he done that? He's out. He ain't going anywhere. We ain't going anywhere. We're now in the middle of the weekend. And we're now going into the week where there's one more international break, and then the players are back on Thursday, leading up to the game on Saturday against Watford. So where's Solskjaer going to go? A change would have been done already. They're not going to change it now, are they? So there you go. Everyone who was in the know saying, yeah, this, that, and that's going to happen, don't know nothing. I'd just rather be honest and say, I'm like you, I don't know. So let's talk about what the reports are, not just claim that we know everything, because we don't. We don't know. What we do know is that Ollie ain't gone anywhere, and let's just talk about that. But yeah, I wanted to get to Donny and Martial, because there was a report in the Manchester Evening News. I thought it was interesting actually, because I can't remember who wrote it, but it was in the Manchester Evening News. Check it out, and they were basically saying that it's another £50 million problem with Martial, which is the same as Donny. He's slowly becoming a Donny, and the truth is that, look, it's somewhere in between, isn't it? There's going to be a lot of you guys watching saying Martial has reached his peak. It doesn't matter. He needs to leave anyway. It's a different case to Donny, where Donny hasn't been given a chance to prove himself, which is true. But there is like a curious case of Martial situation going on, which is like, he really is like, he's far off it. Like I think he started like 2 games, maybe 3 games this year, and he's miles off it. He's not getting used as a sub. His missus obviously put the thing up about not even injured. He had a little bit of a bug, but where is he? It just seems like he's just gone into the wilderness. He's like, even on the sidelines, when you see the players warming up, he ain't warming up. Now, look, I thought we should have cashed in on Martial if we had no intentions of, you know, getting him going in the summer. I do think he's a good player. Do I think he's proved it on a consistent basis? No. Am I in the camp of, yeah, but don't sell him because he's going to go somewhere else and be really good? Yeah, that's fine, but you can't just hang on to the situation because he might get good somewhere else. He also might do exactly what he's done at Man United somewhere else, which is have a good season here or there, or have a good run of games here or there, and then just go cold. Do you know what I mean? Maybe he might do that, because maybe that's what Martial is. He's a player that possesses good talent. He's a player that can, on his day, in good form, give anyone problems. He's a good finisher. He's a composed player on the ball. But he just can't do it consistently. I don't care if you're Martial FC, whoever you think Martial ain't good enough. I think that's just a fact. The record books show us that Martial is not consistent. There's too much of this waiting for it to come good, and then it turns into, what if he goes to Juventus and he kills it? Then we have to look back on it and say, well, where was that with us? Because we gave him enough opportunities across 6 years. Do you know what I mean? But it just adds to looking at what's going to happen in the summer, because, or even January, you know, there's talks of Newcastle coming in for players like Jesse Lingard, Donny van de Beek, Martial. I think we'll be idiots to let those players go to Newcastle, who are, let's face it, you can laugh at them now and say they might not even stay in the division. But if you hand them players like Jesse Lingard, Donny van de Beek and Martial, some of your best players, well, some players who couldn't get into your team, but, you know, you're making a potential rival to us stronger. I don't think we should do that in January at all. Do you know what I mean? But it is a curious case of Martial. I don't think he's ever going to get back into the Man United first team fold. Starting fold, anyway. When's it going to happen? Never going to play. He's never going to play up front. Almost ever again. Unless you're giving a rest to Ronaldo because he's played every game and Cavani was injured. Even then, it's probably going to be Mason up front as it stands. On the left-hand side is his best bet. But obviously, even, you know, Jesse's been coming on ahead of Tony in the last few games. Whenever Jesse can get a game, he's coming on ahead of Martial. So he's third, and even Sancho's been playing on the left recently. Now Rashford's back, he might get a bit more turn on the right. On the right, Martial don't play there. So, you know, essentially, if Ronaldo stays another year, and when Cavani leaves at the end of the season, there is no way in hell, I can see anyway, depending on who the manager is by them, but I can't see Martial staying and playing second fiddle to Ronaldo, if Ronaldo, which probably will stay, provided we get Champions League, playing second fiddle to him, and then us not going to get another striker. Because when Cavani needs, we're going to need another striker. I just think them days of putting our hats on and hopes and faiths in Martial, I just think they're done. I really do think they're done. I can't see it happening. Another thing I want to touch on as well, quickly, is Laurie Whitwell was saying that, and this, I just found this, honestly, that some players were given a choice to go to Carrington, and some players were surprised to be given a week off. And I was like, yeah, we all said that. Like, why is Ollie going on holiday when there's stuff to be worked on? And like I said, when the journalists close to the club start saying stuff, my ears prick up, because they don't. The journalists that get briefed by the club and the journalists that are, you know, got a direct line into the club, they're not really on the propaganda train. Yes, there's media spins, and yes, there's, you know, when the David De Gea, Dean Henderson thing was going on, you might get a little bit of, you know, English bias, which comes from English press, which is understandable. You might get that, but you don't get the sensationalist stuff. Like, you know, when you get like media outlets from abroad, or, you know, it might have big followings, but they're just way left with what they're saying. A lot of the domestic journalists don't really like to say stuff too wild, in my opinion. This is my understanding of it, because they're close to the club. They go to the press conferences every week. They want to keep that status. They want to keep that working relationship, that working dialogue with the club. So if they start saying outlandish stuff and just spreading complete utter nonsense, they're just probably not going to get allowed in, or they're going to sever their relationship that they have with people at the club. That's not to say that everything they say is absolutely true and absolutely bang on, but I just think when they do say stuff, me personally, from my experience of just being in this game, and being in and around it and understanding the mechanics of how it works with the domestic journalists and the journalists that are in the press conferences, I've seen it, I've been in there, I can feel how it works. They are close to what's going on. If they want to know something, they can pick up the phone and ring someone in Manchester United, and that's where you get the PR statements of United aren't looking to replace Solskjaer, or Pogba's not going anywhere right now, or whatever it may be. Anyway, Laurie Whitwell said that Marcus Rashford and Mason Greenwood were training with the under-23s because they took up the option to not just be off for a week doing nothing, and came into Carrington when Ollie's obviously not there. That, to me, if you think about it, and I'm not going to lose my shit over it, but I'm just discussing it as a balanced point of view. You can look at it two ways. You can say, oh, that shows good dedication. You know, they wanted some calm. It's been really stressful. Ollie's gone away to just kind of just get some calm back in Norway, just get his head together. The players have been given a few days off. Maybe the team talk looked a little bit like this. Guys, take a look at yourselves. Take some time off with the family. Relax yourself, and let's come back ready to fight again because we need to turn this around. There's that point. I'm not saying that's my stance. I'm saying there's that side of it. Then there's the other side of it, which is you are in free fall. We are playing poorly, and any opportunity that the international break should be a godsend. The international break should be a godsend for you to get some clear space where there isn't a mad fixture where you've got to travel and worry about recovery and the games are coming thick and fast. The media are on you. You've got press conferences. Are you going to do? It's a calm way to actually go into work with a clear head and work on some stuff. Work on some stuff with a lot of key players who haven't actually travelled, like Marcus Rashford, who's really part of the first team, like Mason Greenwood. Those players are starting every week. There's just them two in particular. Paul Pogba's obviously come back with an injury, fine. Varane's obviously injured, fine. Cavani's injured, fine. Luke Shaw, probably not going to make it for the England game. Maybe he can come back and work on some stuff. You've got Donny there, fit as a fiddle, not getting picked. You've got Jadon Sancho, fit as a fiddle, not getting picked. You can work. You've got Martial there. Actually, I don't know if Martial made the French squad. I'm not sure. But if he didn't, you got Martial there. You know, you've got some players there who have, you know, got stuff to work on. Wan-Bissaka doesn't make it. He's got a lot to work on his game. I would be in the camp of saying, why the hell would you have them training with the kids? And I'm not saying all of them have. I'm just talking about, you know, Mason and Marcus. The fact that they've got to go in, and because there's not enough first team players there, because they've all been given the week off, which some players are surprised, and now they've got to train with the under-23s. No disrespect to the under-23s, but what the hell is Marcus Rashford and Mason Greenwood going to get out of that? Didn't make sense to me. And I think it was more telling the fact that Laurie Whitwell was saying that, you know, those two players had trained with the under-23s, and of course that some players were surprised to be given a week off, as are a lot of fans. Like I said, the thinking behind it from their side is probably get your head down and try and calm yourself down, spend some time with the family, come back re-energized and ready to work hard. I don't doubt that. Some people are saying it's because Ollie's going to get sacked. I think we've been proved already that that's not the case. If that changes, I will hold my hands up in disbelief. But for me, to be given the week off and then some of your first team training with the under-23s just to get the legs going, nonsense. I honestly can't believe that. I really can't. I just think, why would you do that? Why would you do that? But there you go. It is what it is. Guys, nice quick one this morning. Thanks for watching. Smash a like on the video. Subscribe if you're new. We'll be back tomorrow with a full view. A lot to get into. Full crew will be inside as well. And I will see you guys then. Remember, smash a like on the video and subscribe if you are new. Speak to you lot again soon. Peace.